Alright, so in our last video we ended on this one and I didn't get all the way through, so I'm going to go ahead and go through this one right quick and show you how that one's done. So I'm going to start on the inside and do g of 4. And so g of 4 would be 4 squared, which is 16, plus 6, which is 22. So really this whole thing right here is just 22. So now I'm finding g of 22. So g of 22 is just going to be 22 squared plus 6. And so that would be 490. So really I'm just finding now f of 490. And so f of 490, if I do 3 times 490 minus 4, and I'm just going to do that in my calculator over here, that is 1466. So that should be my answer for this part D right here. Now, the next two, I've already put the answers up. Hopefully you tried these. If not, you need to go back and try these. But this is just f of g and g of f with these two functions, and we did one exactly like this in our first example. And so I've just got the work shown right here, and you can look at it. So f is my outside function, so I did 3 big parentheses minus 4, plugged this in, and simplified. And so this is my simplified answer. Now for part B, when you do this, g is my outside function, so I did big parentheses squared plus 6, and then plug 3x minus 4 in. Now, what a lot of people will do is distribute this squared and say that this is just 9x squared minus 16, and you cannot do that. What this squared means is that you need to write this twice and FOIL it out, and so that's what I showed right here. And then I just combined it with that plus 6 and got my 9x squared minus 24 plus 2. Make sure you can get these on your own. Now, last example, I'm going to do some numeric combinations and compositions and then some algebraic, and then we'll be done with this lesson. So, for part A, I'm going to start with the inside and work with that since this is just a number. So I'm going to do f of negative 1. And f of negative 1 is just going to be 2 over negative 1 minus 1, which is 2 over negative 2, and that's just negative 1. So that whole thing is negative 1 there. So now I'm doing f of negative 1 again. And so that, again, is just going to be 2 over negative 1 minus 1, which is 2 over negative 2, which is negative 1. And so when I do the last f of negative 1, I'm going to do the exact same thing, and I'm going to get out, again, a negative 1. And so my final answer there should just be negative 1. And then for part B, I'm going to do the same kind of thing. This is just a different notation. I'm going to do f of 3 first. So that's going to be 2 over 3 minus 1, which is 2 over 2, which is 1. So now I'm doing g of 1. And g of 1 is just going to be 3 over 1, which is 3. And that's my final answer. Now let's go ahead and do the algebraic combinations with these functions. And this is going to review some of our rational expression stuff that we did a while back. So f of x minus g of x, this is just 2 over x minus 1 minus 3 over x. And so in order to combine these fractions, I need a common denominator, which means I need an x here and there, and an x minus 1 there. And so when I combine across the top, this is just going to be 2x minus 3x. And remember, I'm distributing, it's like a negative 3. So that's going to be a positive 3 here over my common denominator. And when I simplify this, this is just going to be a negative x plus 3 over x times x minus 1. And I would factor this negative out if it would allow me to cancel anything down here. But since I won't be able to if I factor that negative out, I'm just going to leave it like this. Now, f of g of x. This is meaning f is my outside function. And so I'm going to have 2 over big parentheses minus 1. And in the big parentheses, I'm going to plug g, 3 over x. And so this is a complex fraction. And so I need to get a common denominator in the bottom here. And that means I need an x in the bottom and an x in the top. So I'm going to have 3 minus x over x. And I'm going to have to flip and multiply this. So this is going to be 2 times x over 3 minus x. I'll make that a 2 over 1. So this is like a 2x over 3 minus x. And again, if I could turn this around and pull out a negative to change anything or to simplify, I would, but nothing would end up canceling. So I'm going to leave it like this. And then my last problem is g of g. And so that just means g is my outside function. So I'm going to say 3 over big parentheses. And for my inside function, it's also g, so I'm just going to say 3 over x. And so I'll plug that in. And then I'm going to have to take and flip this and multiply. So this is going to be 3 times x over 3, and that's like a 3 over 1. My 3's are going to end up canceling, and so I just get an x there. And so that's my final answer.